Welcome to episode 37 of the Valley Sports Talk podcast. Today's episode is going to be NFL based. But first, we want to thank everyone for the amazing support we received on the last episode. It completely crushed our most viewed video on YouTube, and it's still gaining views like crazy. So we want to thank everyone who watched that. We'll definitely be bringing more people on to do interviews in the future. We wanted to do that in the first place, but definitely now that we've seen the support and everyone loved it, we'll definitely keep bringing people on. But today's episode is going to be based on the NFL. This last week in the NFL was pretty crazy. There was even still trades today. One thing I will say, baseball is back. I know we don't talk about baseball on the podcast, but how do you guys feel about baseball being back?
Personally, obviously, I'm excited. The Blue Jays got a really good team this year, so it would have been a shame if the season would have been cut short or not at all. Um, but yeah, baseball being around is obviously a good thing. There's no downsides to it. So they're missing a couple games, but getting it together is it's good to see.
No, and I agree on that part too. I think it's nice to actually to have the sport rolling again. I will be excited to watch the Blue Jays a little bit this year. I'm not a big baseball guy myself, but I do like catching the odd Blue Jays game on TV when I want to. And no, definitely, like you said, there'll be a few games missed, but it'll be good to get the ball rolling for this season already.
Yep, for sure. I read a tweet on the way back from the gym today saying that agents and teams of the players that are still free agents are already talking. So it should start to get hectic in the baseball world. Moving on, like I said, it was a pretty hectic week in the NFL. There was a giant trade today. Two giant trade 2 days ago. A couple signings. So we're gonna jump right into that. First, Aaron Rodgers re-signed with the Packers, and Devontae Adams also got franchise tagged. What were your guys' sort of initial thoughts whenever you heard the Aaron Rodgers signing? Brandon, I know yours because you were in the car with me whenever it happened. But Braden, what were your initial thoughts whenever you heard that Aaron Rodgers got signed?
So when I heard that Aaron Rodgers signed back to Green Bay, I was not shocked, but shocked at the same time because I kind of figured it was going to happen, especially with the fact that like Russ going to Denver. I know that didn't have any part in his decision to stay in Green Bay, but there wasn't a lot of not fancy quarterbacks in the free agency or trademark to actually to have the same value to bring into Green Bay if Aaron Rodgers were to leave. Now, also, we were also trying to figure out where Aaron Rodgers would end up, but at least at this part now, he's back in Green Bay, the old stomping ground for the next 4 years on his contract, and until he retires. And at least that way, the offense is going to be the same way, especially with them tagging Devontae Adams, and hopefully, things work out. And we won't really see much change this year, but they want to make the long haul. I think there's got to be a few changes, but that's for another time.
Personally, we'll talk about it in a minute, but the Russell Wilson trade didn't happen. Like it happened like an hour after, but apparently, according to the Denver GM, Aaron Rodgers re-signing had nothing to do with the trade. Apparently, they were in talks with Seattle for about 2 weeks over a Russell Wilson trade. But yeah, I was in the car with Brandon. I was one that sort of broke the news to him because I got the update first on my phone. My initial thoughts, I was surprised. I honestly did not think he was coming back. Brandon was really confident, but I was not very confident that he was going to be back. I thought he was going to be the new quarterback of the Denver Broncos. To be honest, we'll get into that other trade in a couple minutes, but we'll get Brandon's reaction there first.
Yeah, it was sort of initial happiness, obviously, that one of the best quarterbacks of all time is staying with your team. And then once the realization set in, obviously I'm still happy, but at the time, before we knew that the contract was kind of fake, 4 years of 200 million did seem pretty high, not for this year necessarily, but going into the future. The main reason I'm happy Aaron Rodgers is coming back is because it probably means Devontae Adams is coming back. So they'll have another good team going into this year because that division's terrible. So they'll definitely be a playoff team in the future. I don't know how excited I'll be about that contract, but I guess we'll see what the actual contract is when it comes out, which probably we won't know for a little while.
So next thing, do you guys think that this Green Bay team can do it all? Do you think they can make that run? We haven't really seen it. The past years has been kind of Disappointing. Obviously, last 2 years they've lost to San Fran. Yeah, San Fran and Tampa.
Yeah.
But their team's not really changing much unless they pull out a trade. Obviously, they're so deep in the cap they can't really make much work. But do you think that this is kind of like ruining the last couple of years of Aaron Rodgers' career? Do you think they have a chance to do it all?
I'm going to step in here. I'll go first here. I think they have a chance. Now, also with Brady retiring on the end for the Bucs, that's going to open up a little bit more for their off. Because like you lose that kind of offensive good quarterback there. So that kind of opens the door a little bit. I know that if Jimmy G keeps playing for the 49ers, that's Aaron Rodgers' kryptonite right now. I've been seeing memes about it everywhere on social media about that from the season, like how also like Eli Manning was to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. But I think they'll get it done, but they don't have they don't have a long time to get it done though. I'm thinking like maybe this year at tops, and then maybe a little bit into the following year after that. But I don't think like 4 years of them trying to make it is going to work.
Yeah, I agree. I think obviously they do have a chance if you say they don't. I disagree. They've made it to the NFC Championship like 3 years in a row now. Or sorry, not 3 years in a row. 2 years previous, and then one play away this year from making it. But I mean, the thing you can say about all 3 runs is you were one play away, less than one score away in all those games. So they've made it there, and they've been competitive there. Yeah, they've come up a little short, and they've been disappointing every year. But it's not like they're getting blown out. They've been close in all the games. They just need one more big play. And the way the NFL playoffs work is it's a one-game elimination. You play one bad game, you're done. So any team can really win in the playoffs that way. So they definitely have a shot.
Obviously they have a shot. Do I think they're gonna do it? No, just because the NFL Super Bowl is one of it's so hard to win. Like Brandon said, one game elimination. You if you have a sleeper game, you're screwed. But the one thing I think is good for Green Bay is the Russell Wilson trade. That gets Russ out of the NFC. There's this one team gone, even though the Seahawks did make the playoffs this year, but they always have been sort of a team. The only really teams I can see giving them a fight at this point would be LA, 49ers if Jimmy G stays, and maybe the Cardinals and Cowboys. There's no really other teams, unless I'm missing someone. Tell me if I'm missing a team.
No, that's what my thinking. Like if Jimmy G goes like we all think, the NFC is pretty weak and the AFC is stacked.
Yeah, the NFC is definitely pretty wide open. So I would honestly call Green Bay the favorites in that division. The only team, obviously, I don't really think I can call them favorites though, because.
But then what about where the Rams sit though? You got to think about that too.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You gotta give the reigning Super Bowl champs their due. So the NFC West is wide open. So not the NFC West, the NFC in general is wide open. So anybody could come. Any of those 5 teams that I just listed could easily make the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely the doors are open for like what you're saying for all those teams. Like there's such a big hole in there in the NFC, where in the AFC, where you're saying that it's starting to it's been stacked for a while, but now it's stacked up there pretty high now with Russ on Denver. But yeah, that kind of any of them can make it over there.
Speaking of the AFC and NFC, a massive trade that sort of shook us was Russell Wilson getting traded for the Broncos. And the first question I have, what I just said, did this trade shock you?
I wouldn't say the trade shocked me. Russell Wilson trade rumors have been going around for quite a while now. In Denver, it's no surprise they were looking for a quarterback, so it doesn't really surprise me. Obviously, it kind of came out of nowhere. Like Noah said, it came out that they were talking for 2 weeks, but before that, there was no real rumors about it, I guess. So it's kind of shocking in that way, but saying that Denver picking up a quarterback isn't really shocking to me personally.
No, and all those points are bang on when you're talking about how Denver's, it was no surprise that they needed a quarterback. Like even watching some of the games, like Drew Lock's still pretty young to the point where he needs a lot more experience before he's a good quarterback. Then you got Teddy Two Hands, Bridgewater that
He's a free agent.
He's a free agent now, but even when he played a few of the games for Denver, he never was really that starter, all-star kind of material, which is kind of what, and Denver has the team to do that. And this is why getting Russ is a good decision. Also, it was, and like you're saying, it was no surprise. We've all been hearing that there's been trade rumors going around, and when I saw that the trade went through, I was kind of like, that's good for Denver, but it didn't really shock me that him leaving the Seahawks. I think his time there was done.
So what do you guys think would happen to Seattle now? Like, do you think DK's available? Is Tyler Lockett available? Also, now in this trade, they got the 9th pick, which they didn't have a first-round pick because obviously they gave it to the Jets in the Jamal Adams trade. Do you think they go quarterback? They maybe pick up Kenny Pickett from Pittsburgh or Malik Willis from Liberty, or do they rock with Drew Lock this season? Where does Seattle go from this?
Personally, I think the only person that should be available is Lockett. I don't think DK. I don't think they're gonna want to trade DK. I think the only way it happens is if he wants out. I also don't think they should draft a quarterback at number 9. I think, regardless of if they draft a quarterback at number 9, they're looking at the division they're in, they're not going to be a good team next year. So I think you ride it out with Locke because we still don't know if he's got it. He hasn't in years past, but the Broncos weren't as good as they are now when he was playing. So I think you give him another shot. He's got lethal wide receivers, and they also got Noah Fant now, who's a good. He's a good tight end at the end of the day. And I think you see what you got in Drew Lock. And if it doesn't work, you're going to be bad again this year. So draft a quarterback next year.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing, just like in the same boat where, you ride out with Locke this year and you see what the kids got because, like you were saying with Denver, then it wasn't until up to this year that they were actually, getting good with the team. And now, that they have this team and he's no longer there anymore. I think you give the kid a shot and develop him a little bit and save that draft pick for something that you're going to need to kind of get the team rolling in a good direction. Because I don't think drafting a quarterback right now, especially when you have that first round pick and the 9th pick, I don't know who they take up, but I know that it shouldn't be a quarterback to start with. At least I know a lot of defensive players are going high up in the first round, but I'm not quite familiar with what they need, but I think you roll with Locke for the year, and I think I'd like to see them keep DK and give Locke, if Lockett wants to go, then let him go because with DK he's just a bigger man. I find that he likes little short routes, but that's all you need sometimes to get the ball moving downfield. Where Lockett, it's a hit or miss. And he's the deep guy. He's running 9s or he's going way out down deep midfield to catch the ball. Which I think if DK can move into something like that too.
Yeah, I agree with you guys about keeping DK. But if I'm an NFL team right now, I'm picking up the phone and calling and seeing if DK is available. Obviously,
100%.
Oh yeah, you may as well. He's a great wide receiver.
Personally, I think Lockett's gone. They already cut Bobby Wagner, which we haven't even talked about yet. He's a perennial All-Pro linebacker, and they cut him, freeing up $14 million. I don't know where he signed. Sort of linebacker's not really like a really key position. You don't have to have superstars anymore. Anybody that can really tackle will do it. It's not like one of the more vital positions, but he's still, like I said, a perennial All-Pro. Hall of Famer. He almost had 200 tackles this last season. But in my opinion, I say they do go quarterback at 9. And I say he rides under Locke for 1 year. Maybe they get Locke's trade value up a bit, and then they ship him off. But I think they go Malik Willis out at the quarterback out of Liberty. He's got a big arm, and he's mobile. So he's kind of like he's a bigger Russell Wilson. But yeah, I say they have him sort of. I say they use Locke as sort of like a bridge quarterback, and they have him sit under Drew Lock for a year because, like you guys said, they're not a good team anymore. They're sort of starting their revamp or retool, rebuild, whatever you want to call it.
They're doing it right though. If you're gonna be bad, then do what you do and cut Bobby Wagner. If you're gonna be bad, do it right.
For sure. Now the AFC West, is this the best division in football?
That's a hard kind of
I
topic
think
to get on.
I think so. We were calling it the best division last year, and Russell Wilson was hurt for a majority of the season. So him being gone, the division's basically the same as it was last year.
I mean the AFC West.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking about the AFC West is definitely the best division.
Yes, yeah.
You got the Chiefs, you got the Chargers, you got the Broncos, you got the Raiders. All four of those teams. I mean, I don't know if it's ever happened because all three of the teams would have to make wild card, but this division could possibly have 4 playoff teams.
I think there is 4 playoff teams in this division. Like they're all 4 of them could easily make the playoffs. Will them? No, but would do they? I don't think all of them do, but there's easily 4 playoff teams.
Yeah,
I agree on that. At least
one in a slightly above 500 team, aka the Raiders, is your worst team in the division. Doing pretty well.
Yeah, really.
They held their own this year.
What?
Oh no, I was just saying how the Raiders held their own this year.
Oh yes, for sure.
Yep.
Okay, now here's the tough one. I want you guys to rank the 4 quarterbacks in that division from 1 to 4. So you got Mahomes, you got Herbert, you got Russell Wilson, you got Derek Carr.
Personally, I think it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Mahomes
at 1.
Mahomes is 1. Russell's 2. Russell had he was hurt and then he came back and wasn't very good, so it's kind of not in the mindset. But
I'm gonna
Wilson is an amazing quarterback when he's healthy. He's top, you could say 5 in the league when healthy. So he's number 2 for me. Herbert's still a little young. He's got a lot to prove. He can't seem to come up clutch in the clutch moments, so he's going to have to prove that this year. So I got him at 3, and then Derek Carr at 4.
I'm gonna flip you 2 and 3 here. I would have put Justin Herbert at 2 for myself because I find that like Herbert, yeah, he's a young quarterback. There's still a little bit of mistakes there, and where Russ is when he's healthy, is a good seasonal vet. But I find that since with I'm gonna put it by age a little bit here because I know like Herbert's a little bit more mobile, a little bit more risky on the run, I find. And if Russ could stay healthy, then I'd put him up there number 2. But for right now, that's my order, and then I put Carr at the bottom because there's not much to say. It's just Derek Carr.
Personally, I'm going to agree with Brandon. Brandon said what I was thinking. When Russell Wilson is healthy, he is easily a top 5 quarterback in the league. And I'm just going to take him over I'm going to take experience over Herbert. So I'm going to go obviously 1 Mahomes, 2 Wilson, 3 Herbert, 4 Carr.
I know it's only been a year, but it seems like people forget how good of a quarterback Russell Wilson is.
And I don't forget, and I'm not forgetting that he's not a good quarterback. I'm not saying that. Like, geez,
no, I know.
Like Walter Payton, man of the year, 1-time Super Bowl, and then Super Bowl MVP and all that. Like we all know, like Russ is a great quarterback, and I'm not saying that he sucks or anything like that, but that's just my own personal outlook on it right now.
I wasn't saying you. I'm just saying I think people forget how good of a quarterback Russell Wilson is.
We'll talk about this quick. So today, on the day we're recording this on Thursday, March 10th. If you guys are watching this on the day it comes out, you're watching this on Friday, March 11th. The Chicago Bears traded Khalil Mack to the Chargers, who are in this division. Right now, I want you guys to put your rankings of this division. Like, first seed, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 in the division.
I think it comes down to the same order I put the quarterbacks. I think quarterback's an extremely important position. Obviously, I got the Chiefs at 1. The Broncos, although they finished last in the division this year, they have everything except for a quarterback, and now they got one. I think they finished 2. I think Herbert takes the leap this year, learns, gets he's got an extra year. Now I think he'll start to come up in moments in clutch time deep in the 4th quarter. I think he'll come 3, and I think Derek Carr and the Raiders will be back down to the bottom.
So for 1, I'm going to go with Chiefs. 2, actually, I'm what am I saying? I'm going the same order as you. But here's my one thing. I think that Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs will all make playoffs. I think all 3 of them. And I also think that Derek Carr gets traded this offseason. If I'm the Raiders, you barely snuck into the playoffs this year. That division is completely loaded. You might as well save Derek Carr look the couple elite years he has. Like if I'm Pittsburgh, I am phoning up the Raiders and calling them right now.
Do I agree with you? Yes. Do I think it'll happen? No. There's just some people that don't get traded and just are career one-teamers, and Derek Carr seems like that guy for me. I don't know why. He seems like a guy that'll never leave. He loves the place too much. They love him. I don't know. I feel like he won't go. I feel like you're right. They should trade him because let's say even best case scenario, they finish third in the division and fight for the last wild card spot like they did last year. Like they have a mediocre roster. When you think of mediocre rosters, you think of the Raiders, and Derek Carr would be a good piece to just let go. But I don't know.
Braden, any
So
thoughts?
and this is where my quarterback kind of situation where I had it listed is gonna fall out. But I know that I 1-4. I got the Raiders, and then I won. Obviously, I got Chiefs. But this is where these two teams are gonna have to battle it out in between each other because they're gonna be pretty almost at the same level. I think I'm gonna jump on the same boat with you guys because I am gonna go with the experienced quarterback over the young gun. And I'll switch it up where I'm gonna have I think I see Denver sitting on the 2, and then the Chargers at 3 making the wild card.
Yeah. The only disagree I have with you is the Broncos Chargers battling it out. This might be a hot take, but if the Chiefs have the season they did last year and struggle off the bat, I think it will be Broncos and the Chiefs that will be battling, not the Chiefs and the Broncos and the Chargers. I think the Chiefs got to watch.
That's if they have the season they did last year.
They also
I can get behind.
They also have Tyrann Mathieu as a free agent. He's already said he's going to test free agency. So
Oh,
that's a
really?
big piece of their defense. He said he's testing free agency.
And
He already
he's
came
gonna
out.
get paid.
So
And I don't know if the Chiefs can pay him.
and that's a big if he leaves, that's a big chunk off his defense gone.
Hello.
That's a big chunk off the defense gone.
Somebody's peeking.
Yeah, I know it's Ethan.
Of course it is. Is the Chargers pass rush of Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack the best 1-2 punch in the league right now? Not obviously they're not number 1 and 2 in pass rush, but are they the best pass rush team?
Combo, they're the best duo.
Best combo, yes.
I think I'm gonna pass on this one. I'm not really sure on how to answer that because I know there's probably are other duos that are better or either the same level, but I know that both Bosas are tanks of human beings. But I'm just gonna pass on this one because I don't want to say something that's not entirely correct.
Yeah, personally, I'm not the best with names, but I don't know if they're one. They're definitely up there, but other duos that are coming to mind is LA, Darnold and Miller. You got the Browns, who got
Myles Garrett and Clowney.
And Jadeveon Clowney. Another team that's coming to me is Pittsburgh.
TJ Watt, Cam Hayward.
TJ Watt and Cam Hayward. So there's a bunch of good duos. I don't know if they're number 1. I don't know. I might give it to the Browns or the Steelers personally.
I'm definitely going to give it to the Chargers. I just think those are 2 top 10 edge rushers right now. And for me, they're not 9-10. They're like Khalil Mack's they're 5-6, where I think for the Steelers, it's 1 in TJ or 1 or 2, whatever. If you want to call it Aaron Donald D tackle, you can, where it's 1 and 2 and 9 and 10 for Cam Hayward. So I think it's more sort of balanced that way, which is why I'm going with them.
Yeah.
Moving on to the other quarterback trade, we have Carson Wentz being traded to the Washington Commanders from Indy. Still feels weird saying the Washington Commanders.
I know, eh?
So my first question is, does this trade give Washington enough power to overtop the Cowboys for this division?
That's such a hard question because are we going to get the Washington we saw 2 years ago, or are we going to get the Washington we saw last year? That's my thing. People forget Washington 2 years ago was one of the best defenses in the league. And they kind of fell apart last year, but they were injured last year as well.
So yeah, we're gonna get a healthy Chase Young back.
Exactly.
But the one thing I don't know, this name might not ring, but they're losing safety Landon Collins.
Okay.
He's a Pro Bowl safety for them. Pro Bowl safety linebacker, but they asked him to take a pay cut and he said no, so they released him.
Damn. Leafs are coming back, by the way, 4-3.
Nobody cares.
Honestly, I think it will they? I don't know. Can they? 100%. Obviously the Cowboys are a great team. They got an amazing offense. I think their defense is a little overrated, but their offense is definitely not overrated. It's one of the best in the league. But the Commanders, like I said, I've said for the last couple minutes, if we get the team from 2 years ago, for sure they can. Their defense is amazing. Carson Wentz, although not what we saw, he's still a good quarterback. We saw it in Indy, other than the past couple weeks when they went on that big losing streak to not make the playoffs. He's still a good quarterback. He's above average anyways, hovering around just above average in my opinion. So I think it's definitely doable.
I will agree with you. I think it's doable. Do I think it happens? No. The one thing that we have to remember is that in Philly, he was a top 3 in MVP voting that one year.
Exactly.
So like we'll have to see, are we going to get Indy Carson Wentz, where you said he's just like average to above average, or can he bring back his Philly years and can he be an MVP candidate? Like it's hard to say now. Like you said, do I think it'll happen? No, I think Dallas is like a step ahead of them. But is it possible? 100%. It's the NFL. Anything is possible.
See, and this is where now I don't really see. So I was working at the gym a few weeks ago, and I saw that the Washington team dropped all their quarterbacks except for Taylor Heineke. So I thought Heineke was going to get the start. Like, finally, get this ball rolling. He is a good quarterback, and I've seen it, but, just kind of a few hiccups in the game that can be adjusted. Now they do get the, experienced Carson Wentz, which he'll probably end up starting. But I really was just looking forward to seeing Taylor Heineke, really, play a full season.
I mean, we saw Taylor Heineke play a full season this year.
What?
Yeah,
I don't play a full season this year.
I don't think Heineke's the answer at all.
I thought
That's
maybe,
right.
but anyways, I'm sticking with my opinion anyways.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that.
Now they do have, and I feel like now what you're saying with the team they had 2 years ago, yes, they could overtop Dallas. But the other team that they did last year, like you're saying also, yeah, it's gonna be a little iffy. But hopefully with with all these new adjustments and people starting to get healthy again for this new season coming up, that will actually have a good Washington Commanders team.
And the one thing we got to remember is 2 years ago they almost upset the eventual Super Bowl champs that year in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that was with Taylor.
They had a massive defense, man. It was.
I think this is going to be great for a guy like Terry McLaurin, personally, because
I love that fantasy-wise.
Yeah, for fantasy-wise, it's good. Like if what you say is right, and we get a Wentz that it doesn't even have to be the old Carson Wentz, just better than last year. He's definitely more of a deep threat to throw, which is good for not Taylor Heineke, sorry, Terry McLaurin. You can definitely say he's more accurate. He's got the experience, and I feel like that'll work well for Terry McLaurin. I feel like Terry McLaurin, he definitely dropped off at the end of the year, and it was because Taylor Heineke's play sort of dropped a little bit. So if this could be a really exciting team if Carson Wentz is decent.
Yeah, that is decent.
So flipping the script, what does Indy do now? Because they have a good team. Like their roster is good. They almost made the playoffs this year. Like, what does their quarterback situation look like?
I honestly don't know. Like, there's either, there's something out there. Do you try to offer somebody a deal or something like that? Or like, do they have any first round picks?
I believe they're at 14.
Okay. So maybe you're lucky if you're passed up maybe a decent quarterback, but I don't know what they're going to do. That's kind of just out of mind, out of sight right now.
I think all decent quarterbacks are kind of taken right now, except for Deshaun Watson. I feel like maybe you take a look at that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a big risk when you try to play that card, though.
Yeah, other notable names, I guess, are like Gardner Minshew, maybe. Like, I don't know. There's no real starting quarterbacks left on the market now that you got Russ and Aaron Rodgers with the Bills. So I don't really know where they go from here. Same with Pittsburgh. Like, do they just stick with Rudolph? I don't know. The quarterbacks are kind of taken.
So the two names that I've sort of been seeing on Twitter, one of them pains me to say. One of them is Matt Ryan. I've seen his name get thrown around there. Do I think it'll happen? No, because Arthur Smith, the Falcons head coach, has already came out and told ownership that he wants Matt Ryan there for next year. And the other name is Jimmy G.
Jimmy G, I forgot about Jimmy G. Yes, Jimmy G would be perfect.
Porn star
I
Jimmy.
totally forgot about Jimmy G.
Here's another question. If you're Indy and you have 14, do you give that up for Matt Ryan? Do you give 14 up for Jimmy G? Like,
I give it up for Jimmy G. I give it up for Matt Ryan as well. I don't think, like you said, I don't think Matt Ryan gets traded. Tampa currently doesn't have a quarterback. Carolina, sorry, Braden, not very good.
No, and
And
and their situation is also in a quarterback problem, but that's a discussion we'll get into another day because that really pisses me off when I talk about it.
And then you also have the Saints, and you never really know what you're going to get from the Saints. That division is wide open. And
Oh yeah, that division is terrible.
Any four of those teams can make the playoffs. So if I'm Atlanta, this is Matt Ryan's last effort. Like, what can Atlanta do this year?
I mean, I feel now at number 8, I think you have to go receiver now with Calvin Ridley being
100%.
suspended.
You got no Calvin Ridley. You don't have a
You got Russell Gage and Kyle Pitts. Cordell Patterson's a free agent. He wants to come back. Will they bring him back? Who knows?
He's probably going to want a lot of money, man.
I know. That's the thing that sucks. But like Atlanta's, we can talk about this on a different episode, obviously. But Atlanta's number one need right now is edge rushers and receivers.
Yeah, like if you're Atlanta and Matt Ryan's been with you for this long and he's at this age, this is something you didn't think you were going to see when Tom Brady signed, that this division would be open. And this division is open this year. So you have to go out and take it.
And I mean, Matt Ryan's still an above average to great quarterback.
100%.
Like, he's still a top 15 quarterback.
He just doesn't have a wide receiver anymore because Calvin Ridley decided to bet on games.
And the funny part is that he bet on the Falcons to win a game. Like,
Carolina's got the tools. Like, it's all there. It's just, like a little bit of adjustment on the defense a bit, and definitely fix that quarterback situation. They can be above average team.
They could also be a Christian McCaffrey-less team come season.
No.
Trade talks are open.
I know trade talks are open. I'm not excited. If he leaves, I'm jumping ship. I'm heading to Buffalo. Done.
Honestly, if CMC leaves, that's a good thing for you.
I think it'd be a good thing.
Yeah, what do you get? You get
probably a first, if not second round pick. And Chuba was good last year whenever he got the touches.
Like, what if you get a first round pick and something else for CMC, and he never plays more than 10 games in the season ever again? It's double of a trade.
Double W.
That is a W of a trade.
It's so risky with CMC. Like,
I know he's injury prone, and I hate that, but he's just my boy.
But then whenever he's healthy,
but I won't be jumping ship with Buffalo. I'm staying with the team. I'll ride with the team till the day I die. So, when the going gets tough, you just swim through the shit.
When the tough gets going, you just swim.
And you make lemonade.
Okay, we're gonna move out of football there for our the rest of this podcast. I saw a post on Twitter the other day. It was Bodog's top 10 Canadian athletes of all time. So we decided to do Valley Sports Talks top 10 athletes of all time. The boys got their list together. We have our top 10 athletes. Obviously, a lot of amazing Canadian athletes are getting left off this list because it's only down to 10. I made mine personally right before we started recording. And I was searching through names like, oh my God, like I can't even fit this guy on the list.
I know. Like the only thing I can say is if you're talking top 10 Canadian athletes of all time,
you're talking an elite group.
You're gonna disagree with our list at some point. And I know personally for like all of us here, there's some sports we're into more than others. So we'll probably have a couple more players of that sport just because we watch it more. So depending on what sport you watch, you might disagree for sure.
Absolutely.
Do we want to do just like Braden goes first and Brandon and me or like that?
I think we should do bottom 5, top 5.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was
Okay,
going to
Braden,
suggest. Can we
give
just
us
like
your
list,
10
like one of us just go and list them off, like something like that?
Braden, what is your 10 to 6?
My 10 to 6. So at number 10, I had Gordie Howe. Number 9, Bobby Orr. Number 8, Andre Degrassi.
DeGrasse.
Number 7, oh god, I have a hard time pronouncing his name because he's the tennis player there. It's
Raonic, Milos.
Yes, thank you. And then number 6 was Steve Nash.
The only thing I disagree with you is having Raonic, Milos on there. I don't think.
Yeah, he should have been a little bit lower, but when I was researching names, I had a hard time thinking of Canadian names because I just didn't want to do just hockey. So I was like, okay, I'll mix it up a little bit. And then I should have had him a little lower. I'm not really a tennis guy, but like I know like I could have like Bobby Orr up there higher. I can say that for sure.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's not terrible.
No,
my 10 is Carey Price, arguably best, well, very arguably best Canadian goaltender of all time. Ferguson Jenkins. This is an oldie. One of the Canada's best MLB pitcher. Number 8, Bobby Orr, Canada's best defenseman. Number 7, Clara Hughes, most gold medals in Canada history. And then 6, Hayley Wickenheiser, just because of what she's done for the Canadian hockey community.
So my list, I went based more off what they've done for Canada. So whenever you see my number 10, you guys might be like, wow. Like, so 10, I have Mario Lemieux. 9, I have Steve Nash.
Okay.
8, I have Hayley Wickenheiser. 7, I have Marie-Philippe Poulin.
Yep.
And 6, I have Christine Sinclair.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I like all.
You guys might like question who I have some people over. If that makes sense.
No, like I know my top 5 is all. They might not be the best athletes, but they've done the most for our country. So.
So Braden, you want to give us 5 to 1?
Yeah. So number 5, I had Christine Sinclair, and then at number 4, I had Hayley Wickenheiser. And number 3, Terry Fox. I know that's not. I know people don't say it's not much of an athlete; it's more of a charity run. But I see that finding a cure for cancer, especially for the people that have a hard time, and those involved with cancer around in their lives. That he did a really good thing. Unfortunately, I didn't get to finish the run, but we run at least most growing up. We always ran Terry Fox run in memory of Terry for what he did. Number 2, I had Sidney Crosby, and then number 1, I had Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, mine isn't too different. 5, Steve Nash, obviously probably best NBA Canadian basketball player to this date. Number 4, I have Terry Fox, same reasons Braden had him for. Number 3, I have Sidney Crosby. We've all grown up watching this guy. Everybody wanted to be like him growing up. Number 2, I have Penny Oleksiak, most medals as a Canadian athlete in the Olympics. And then number 1, Wayne Gretzky, obviously best hockey player of all time coming from Canada.
So my 5, I have Bobby Orr. 4, Clara Hughes. 3, Sidney Crosby. 2, Terry Fox. 1, Wayne Gretzky. Penny and George St. Pierre were my 2 bubble.
Yeah, I didn't even have Gordie Howe on my list. That's how crazy it is.
I know, it's pretty.
I know, like there's so many great Canadian athletes out there, men and women, that it's so hard to to put them like on a list from like 1 to 10 or 10 to 1. It's there's so many that, and they've done all great things and revolutionized sports and all that it's so hard to fit them all on a list.
Yeah, it was definitely nuts. If you guys want to leave your list down in the comments, or if you guys have any different others, you can do that. Also, we'll post our lists on our Instagram, so you guys can go comment on that. So moving on, now we're going to do a Canadian sports trivia. I have 6 questions about Canadian sports or Canadian sports athletes. Braden, some of them are pretty easy. I hope they're easy at least. Number 1. What are the 2 sports that Clara Hughes participated in the Olympics?
Okay. I think I know.
I don't know. I think like you should know.
This one's probably the hardest one.
Okay.
Okay, good. If I can get this one, then I'm feeling all right. I think I got it. I think.
Okay, I'll spit fire here. I'll see what I can. No, hang on. Can I ask? Is it winter or summer?
She did one of each.
One of
Yeah,
each.
okay, that makes me feel more confident because I had one of each. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say soccer, and maybe like bobsled or luge or something like that. I don't know. I don't know.
My answer is speed skating and cycling.
That is correct. It is
Oh.
speed skating and cycling.
Okay.
Thank you.
Number 2, in the 2014 Sochi Winter Olympics, who scored the overtime game winner for Canada in the women's gold medal game?
Oh shoot. That's a good question.
That's a good question. I didn't watch that game.
That was Haley Wickenheiser's last
Last
Olympics, right?
Olympics, correct.
I don't think it was her though.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was her though. That's the one thing.
I got it.
I don't know. I have no idea.
No answer, Bray?
No answer. You're just
Brandon?
Well, if you want an answer, at least shoot out Haley Wickenheiser just in case.
It's probably not, but sure.
I'm going Poulin.
It is Marie-Philippe Poulin.
There we go. She always comes up clutch when you need her.
Number 3, what year did the Toronto Raptors join the NBA?
I don't know this.
90s? It's the 90s, wasn't it?
Let me think.
When did Vince Carter wear the jersey behind me?
I might get this actually.
Is it the 90s, 98?
I got my answer. I don't think it's right, but I got my answer.
Yeah, I'll take a shot in the dark.
Okay,
I'm
give
gonna
it, Bray.
say 96.
Okay, Brandon?
I think 85.
It was 1995. 1 year off, Braden.
Fuck! Oh, it was the same
I
year
think
the
he gets a
Panthers
point.
joined
I think he gets a
the same year
point.
the Panthers joined the National Football League. Damn.
95. Okay, another NBA question. What was the only other Canadian basketball team?
Bray, you better get this.
I don't know.
You can't see it, but it's
Don't
hanging up.
know?
It's hanging up. It's hanging up in my room. And
Do you
right
know what
there.
city they're from, Braden?
What?
Do you know what city they were from?
I probably somewhere. I don't know.
No.
They moved to a
To
place,
Memphis.
and that team is still currently named after them.
BC. Okay. Sometimes with Grizzlies. Be something like the Grizzlies. BC.
I think we give Braden the Raptors question. I think I'm winning 2-1.
Sure, I'll give him
That was
that.
pretty good. He was 1 year.
He was
off.
1 year off.
That's not bad. I was 10.
Okay, that's
You
good.
got the 5 right. Okay, Bray, you got an answer?
So what's the name of the team?
You should know. No. What's the name of the team?
I don't know.
You should know this as a
If
Canadian.
you say the city, I'll give you the point.
Well, they're still named the Grizzlies, then it's got to be somewhere out west. So I'm gonna probably go with what would it be? No, not Seattle. No, be BC something. I don't know, Vancouver or something like that. I don't know.
Pick a
Final
team.
answer?
Yeah, I'll just say that because I have no idea. So
You said 2. You said BC and Vancouver. Pick one of them.
I'll just go with Vancouver because it's in BC. It's the only
Brandon?
major city right
You
there.
think it's the Vancouver Grizzlies?
I don't know. That
Is
sounds.
that what you're saying?
That sounds. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but it just doesn't sound right.
It sounds perfectly right. 'cause that's
It
the
is
right
correct,
answer.
Mr. Fisher.
You
Oh,
should
is it
know that,
nice?
Braden.
Okay.
It was the Vancouver Grizzlies. They now are the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, because I gotta say, like, I'm sitting here. I'm like, man, okay, Grizzlies. Where are the Grizzlies from? Out west. Where's in out west? Vancouver. How expensive is it to live in Vancouver? Very expensive.
Moving on. How many Canadian NHL teams are there?
No, geez, Braden, come on, man.
He's gonna be counting on his finger.
I gotta count.
He's gonna miss a team.
Probably.
I know what team he's gonna miss too, if I had to guess.
You got it, Braden.
I got 8. No, 7. No, 7.
Final answer?
That's my final answer.
My
Brandon?
answer is 7.
It is 7.
What team do you think I was gonna miss?
Winnipeg.
No, like I was going from west to east.
Yeah, Winnipeg was the team I thought you
I
might
was
miss.
counting down like that.
Okay, final question. Braden, you need Brandon to get this wrong, and you got to get it right to force overtime. Who won the most recent Grey Cup?
Do you have an overtime question ready?
Yep.
Actually? Okay.
Mhm.
I think I got it.
I kind of want to play overtime. But I'll
Yeah, but what happens? What happens? I get it wrong, and then and then you just say that we're wrong. I guess I'm going first, and then never mind. Take that back.
I know the answer, but I kind of want to play overtime.
I'm pretty sure I have the answer.
It's the Blue Bombers. Winnipeg.
Braden, was that your answer?
No, mine was the Ticats.
They beat the Ticats.
It was
Okay.
Okay,
I can't remember. I thought it was the Ticats because I know they made it to the Grey Cup, but I thought they won.
Here's another one for fun. How many medals does Penny Alexiak have?
Damn, I was just looking this up too when I was putting her on my list.
I don't know.
I got it.
I'll take a while. I'll take a stab in the dark, like 10.
I think it's 7.
It is 7.
Yes.
So Brandon
a
takes
beast.
the
He's a
Canadian
beast.
trivia. Brandon, did you get one wrong? Oh, you got the Raptors.
Yeah, I got the Raptors one wrong.
Yeah, I got the Raptors one wrong.
I was a decade off.
Yeah, you were a decade off.
So yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for today. We hope you enjoyed our episode.
If you haven't watched the last one, go watch it. It was
yes,
great.
if you haven't watched
Crank
the last
those
one,
views up.
you watch it.
Huge shout out to Taylor. It's a great interview. If you don't even have to be a young girl. If you're a young person joining any sport and you're not totally confident, go watch the interview. It's amazing.
Really an inspiration.
So make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe to never miss a episode. Check out our TikTok, Instagram, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Yeah.
Thanks.